and today we're gonna read The Magic Tree of Merlin Mission, Book 23, High Time for Heroes. And today we're gonna start reading a chapter 3 and then reading a chapter 4. Now, are you ready for this one book with a lot of stories? Now, here we go. And first you can read is The Magic Tree of Merlin Mission, Book 23, High Time for Heroes. Chapter 3, Beast on the Nile. All aboard, said Charlie. The English couple led away across the short gangplank on the deck of their sailboat. The boat had a long cabin of the long, tall mast with a fair sail. Two crew members with the white clothes were mopping in the desk. Miss Zenla, one called, Lord the Lady Person were wading inside into the visit of the Miss Fallons. Oh no, I don't know where they're coming, Zenla have said under her breath, and Charlie's have stuffed and stroked his mustache. Excuse me, my dear, he said, but while those particular folk are aboard, I believe I shall take a stroll. Pleaser to meet you, Jack and Annie. He tipped up his head and then researched back to the gangplank. Card, called Zenla, and Charlie's have turned to their studio from the riverbank. Those give my best friend to Briskins and darling Tata, he said and took off. Who are the Briskins? Said Annie. Zenla sighed. Lord and Lady Briskin are artist tours from London. She said, they are brave American children. It might be good for you education. The boat rocked gently and calm water as Jack and Annie had followed Zenla across the deck. Austral carrots? Annie whispered to Jack. That's like Rosalie, right? Sort of, said Jack. We have to act proper. No problem, said Annie. We have hung with Express Maria Teresa at Australia and King Philip at a second of Maracona. Yeah, well, don't mention that one, said Jack. Duh, said Jack, said Annie. Zenla stopped at the front of the cabin doors and took a deep breath. Are you ready? She and Jack said. She asked Jack and Annie. Yes, said Jack with the eager to out of her head away into the flies. Zenla opened the door and motioned to Jack and Annie to follow her. They walked into the small sitting room with the green planet walls and the long, dark woodwork. It took a moment to Jack's eyes adjust to the shadowy room. It was much cooler inside than outside, but the red-faced man and a woman sitting stiffly on the straight black chairs. They were both fanning themselves frantically. Lord of a Lady Briskin, hello. I'm sorry that Fallons is not here now. I'm sure she'll be back soon, said Zenla. But in the meantime, please meet Jack and Annie from America. Hello, Jack said with a bow. Greetings, my lord, greetings, my lady. Annie said with a crusty. The aristocrats bared nodded, and they feigned themselves harder. Have a seat, children, said Zenla. Jack and Annie have sat on the edge of the sofa. Jack have tried to keep his back and as straight as he could. Then he saw Lady of Burskins scroll at his hat and he quickly pulled it off. How are your lordship and ladyship today, said Zenla. The two Oscars have spoke at once. Terrible and wretched, the Lord Briskin said. Burning up, said his wife. Oh, I'm sorry, said Zenla, but Jack have noticed she didn't sound sorry at all. We saw a dreadful burst this morning, said the Lady Briskin. A dreadful burst? said Zenla. That's crocodiles, said Lord Briskin, and the servant told the hippopotamus. was pulled up river yesterday. Nile hippos kill people, and the Egyptian jackets have been routinely too, and come out at night and slay small animals. Said he. Looked at Jack and Annie. They have even been known Attic children. Furthermore, our servants have been telling us about the snakes in Egypt, said the Lady Briskin. The black mamba, for instance, one bite monster contains through the potion to kill 20 people. Oh my. Let's hope. Of course, the biggest killer in this land is the biggest little Moscow. Lord Briskin interrupted. Egyptian muskrats have carried terrible disease, malaria of cover, coma, death. Oh, such seriously, said Senla. Aren't we all terribly miserable and frightened in Thebes? Said the Lady Briskin. I'm not actually miserable or frightened, said Annie thoughtfully. We saw crocodile today too, but it was harmless. She smiled at the Lord Lady Briskin, and then he stared back as she were a little musco. Suddenly, a servant threw open the door, stood at attention, and spoke into the loud voice. Continuous fin his sky. The grimace-looking woman, wrapped in a red silk shawl, burst in. Her dark hair was piled high on her head. On her shoulder was a tiny monkey. A monkey looked like a little elf, and he had wrinkled into the face, big pointed ears, bushy eyebrows. Oh, look, it's so cute, said Annie. Coldness, bow, and kisky. I believe you met the lord of a Lady Briskin, said Senla. Oh, yes, said Constance, nodding into the Briskins. But neither Katu or I've met the lovely children. Who are you? Jack and Annie from America, said Annie. Delightful, said the cartoonist. Jack and Annie Koku von Kiskai. I'm from Budapest, Hungary, but she is a baby bamboo from Sudan in Africa. Koku, say hello. As the cartoonist leaned down Jack and Annie, Koku grabbed Jack's ear and with his tiny fingers and yanked hard. Ow, Jack said. Baby Bamboon had grinned as she thought Jack was funny. Koku, no, said the cartoonist, pulling Koku's head Jack's ear. A big no, thought Jack, rubbing his ear. Uh-oh, said the Bamboon, looking at Jack with big eyes. Uh-oh yourself, said Annie, laughing and reaching to the cuckoo. Careful, child, she'll bite you, said the Lord Briskin. Excuse me, my lord and my darling, Koku never bites, said cartoonist. The look on the Briskin's face grew even more sore. Jack and Annie rubbed Bamboon spikily, stared with another head. Koku stared Jack and Annie with a bright, curious eyes, and then let out a shrill search. And Jack and Annie have searched Jack back at her. Everybody laughed, except of course the Assyrians, who now glared Jack and Annie Koku as if he was Australs, who now glared at Jack and Koku as they are both little Muscos. Before the Birkins could speak, the door opened again. A tall, slender woman stepped inside, clutching the notebook. She was brave, spirited, and smiling. but her smile quickly turned into the look of amazement, and then saw all the visitors. "Florence, finally!" exclaimed Helena. Florence Nightingale was a plan of a grey dress, her brown hair appeared in the middle. "Hello, Florence, my dear," Lord Briskin said. "Please sit down." Florence took a seat and smiled politely. "Greetings, my lord, my lady," she said, her eyes as softened as he rested on the contours of a baby bamboo. "Hello, Contours. How is our little cuckoo today?" "Very happy," said Contours. "She just made 2 wonderful new friends from America." She nodded toward Jack and Annie. "Oh, hello," said Florence. "Hello," said Jack. Annie couldn't speak. She just stared at Florence with the wide eyes with a big grin. "Flo, this is Jack and Annie," said Sandra. "They want to meet you." Florence paused. "But why?" she said. "For some reason, they believe you are the world-famous nurse who works in hospitals," said Sandra. Florence looked curiously at Jack and Annie. "A world-famous nurse?" she said. "How strange." "Strange indeed," said Lady Briskin with a snort. "Work in the hospital is unthinkable." "Unthinkable, my lady," said Florence. "Well, your mother and father can suddenly find it so," Lord Briskin said huffily. A sad expression crossed Florence's face as she looked back at Jack and Annie. "No, children," she said. "I'm not a world-famous nurse. In fact, I never, not even for one day, work in the hospital. My family will find it unthinkable." Sandra jumped into the talking notes about Egypt and ruins. "Oh, what about Flo really loves to taking notes about Egypt and ruins," Jack said with Annie. "That's why we make such a wonderful traveling companions. And she loves to take notes, loves to sketch, and tell our guests about morning Flo." "Oh, I was at Temple of Luxor," said Florence, brightening, "studying the paintings, particularly the ones of an Beans, said Jack. "The jackal god," said the Florence. "He's on many tub walls. The ancient Egyptians have believed the jackals protect the dead and find so fascinating." "That is fascinating," said Annie. Lady Burson shuddered. "I find it gruesome," she said. "That's not gruesome at all, my lady," said Florence. "I find Egypt remarkably quiet and beautiful." "I think so too," said Jack. "Beautiful?" said Lord Vixen. "I don't say I couldn't see anything in this land beautiful, Florence. I couldn't imagine why you want to prowl among the grassy ruins." "Nor I," said Lady Burson. "They all stink of rats and daisy." "Oh, speaking of rats," said the Continuous, "Coco and I saw one of the cabin last night. Neither of us could sleep and wink after that." "We never sleep," said Lady Briskin. "Not with rats and flies and fleas. That is a dreadful singing from our crew hurts my ears. I'm sorry you find so dismal in this land, my lady," said Florence. "It makes me wonder why you and have lordship ever choose to travel to Egypt in the first place." "Why, these days is considered quite fashionable at visit to Egypt," said Lady Briskin. "Now, the Lord Briskin can possibly understand why. I adore Egypt, said Florence, and I feel I must define her. Egypt and the choir agree with each other. Indeed, said Lord Briskin. You adore Egypt, and she agrees with you, and you've must defined her. You certainly seem to have exclaimed often yourself, Miss Nightingale. Florence took a deep breath, and then she have said quietly, "No, in truth, Eddie, I don't have an excellent option of myself, my lord. I have an excellent open to you," said Annie, whispered, and awkward with a silence with the room. "Forgive me," said Florence. "I'm not feeling well. I must retire on my own cabin. I fear I must," said. And with that, Florence Nightingale rose from the chair and slipped silently out of the room. Now it's chapter 4, Bamboo Babysitters. Now, I think the first page we've got Bamboo and Jack and Annie here. So Bamboo Babysitters might be Jack and Annie, I think. So we're gonna see that tomorrow. Now please thumbs up my YouTube if you didn't thumbs up my YouTube before. Look at my YouTube, and now bye bye everybody and have a nice day. Bye.